City Clerk, are there members of the public wishing to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. We have 21 requests to speak.
Okay, so each person will get 90 seconds. We'll start with those in person, followed by those via Zoom. When I call your name, please come down and line up next to the City Clerk. Rebecca Hanna.
Thank you, City of Irvine, for being cognizant in the prevalent issue of plastic waste reduction. For our future climate, reducing single-use plastics is key. As a conscious consumer, I care about my choices, and I believe most of my favorite businesses would be so down to swap out their
Mayor, could we just ask her to slow down?
Slow down. Am I too fast? Sorry about that.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
So
There it is.
Point,
What would it
point
take?
of clarification,
Sure.
Chair, so the 50 is the ones that aren't covered, right?
Right, yeah, the 50 without any furniture.
Furniture.
Yeah,
or
what would be
cover.
the top 50?
Right, what's the top 50 we could look at?
Right, and what would the cost be?
Shout out to Doug Elliott.
Vice Mayor Kim, is this on specific
yeah,
maps? Because
it
we're not
is.
there yet.
No, it's a question. Can you just hold on, please?
I'm just asking if you're doing
So
a process.
what I'm
question.
asking is about data.
So we're not there yet? Right now, it's just the overall process that we are experiencing. If you have a question on that?
Well, I don't know what this is, but just let me answer the question and then you can determine whether or not it should be answered. So I'm looking at, sorry, I think I have to correct my motion.
I'm sorry, Mayor, excuse me, are you making a point of order? Go ahead.
So,
Point of order?
point of order.
Okay, please go ahead, Board Member Kim.
Oh, yeah. So if you're
I
saying
really
that...
want to, excuse me, I really want to get to Board Member Kim because
Tammy, do you need
I
me
feel
to
like she's been
wrap
waiting a
up?
while. No, I'm sorry. You have to talk through the chair. I'm the presiding officer. This is a deliberative body. Would you like to proceed? Or
It sounds
okay.
like
Okay, go ahead.
Vice Mayor Kim is indicating she's fine with
No,
it.
Vice Mayor,
And
she's the board member of the Great Park Board, and she's not been asked. I'm the
okay.
presiding officer. I'm just asking what you would like to do.
Board Member Kim seems like she's nodding her head that it's okay for me to go. So I'd like to keep going.
So thank you.
Thank you, Director Kim. Okay, so we have a substitute motion.
And so it's just something to continue considering. And it is a relatively small percentage, but we chose to still try to to reach them because
Okay.
they're here.
Okay.
And this next question, you guys gave us 2,000 pages of traffic studies to look at. And I've been flipping through it as I'm watching the Dodger games, and I stumbled across one panel that didn't look right to me. And I'm going to make you guys suffer. Appendix 5.2, attachment 1, part 5. If somebody could look that up. Page 290, panel 135. Oh my God, I'm a little sick. Great, thank you so much. I was like, that can't be right, but it is right. All right.
And the contractor maintains, repairs, and cleans the furniture, empties the trash at locations with receptacles.
Sure.
200, I think it's 216 or something in that number that have shade.
Right.
Furniture, right?
Have furniture. Right.
Yeah, so I'm curious, number 217, what does it look like? Yeah, I mean,
Just a poll.
yeah, I'm wondering, well, I'm sure it's a poll. I'm just wondering the ridership of like even just the next one.
Yeah.
Year historic MMD range, and Sara just made it just in time.
Sorry, I am so sorry.
Thanks, Sara. No, you articulate that really, really well. I could not describe those beautiful graphs the way you did, so thank you.
Don't reveal any state secrets here.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And we saw you there in the photographs because you wore your trademark orange Great Park hat.
That's the traditional Great Park hat.
Thank you. We will be looking for, people need to be out there looking for the hat.
Doug Elliott, 11-year Irvine resident, and I was getting worried that this meeting was going to go right by without a single public comment, so I didn't want that to happen. I have to admit that I haven't actually walked the timeline myself.
But I'd like to ask our colleague and resident, Mr. Elliott, I hope that he does see the walkable timeline soon, and then he comes back and reports what he saw, reports on it, and not a mandate, but a general request.
Mr. Elliott is going to go out and walk the timeline. He should have the booklet with him, and it would be most valuable if he actually read the booklet before he went out, and then again after he went.
I think you and I are going to get all trouble with our public. So moved.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, directors.
Walk and chew gum, right? Thanks.
Mayor, I had a great suggestion.
Jesse not here.
It's a tribute to my inventiveness, but I will. Oh, he's here. He's here. He's coming. And I'm happy to read the first one if you'd like, or sounds like Vice Mayor Kim might want to.
Sure. So I'd like to move an ordinance of the city.
Through the chair.
I'm not going to support that because we don't do that with any of our other ordinances. So can we just take a vote?
To the motion and a second. City Clerk, please conduct a roll.
Good evening, Mayor Khan, Vice Mayor Kim.
That you do to a 501. What was that? Yeah, you get the same.
Sorry, it's been a long day.
I used to do this for a living, put together legislation. Unlike the academy, unlike academia, plagiarism is the #1 policy when it comes to enacting, adopting legislation. Find somebody else who has tackled it, authored something that's terrific, that is working, and just copy it, and then take it 1 or 2 steps further if you can.
Holding the standards set by Assembly Bill 481 and maintaining trust of our community. We recognize the importance of transparency and accountability in our operations and will continue to provide the Mayor and City Council with annual updates on our use of military equipment. We believe that by adhering to the guidelines outlined in our military equipment use policy, emphasizing training and de-escalation techniques, and actively evaluating the need for equipment deployment, we are fostering a safer and more secure environment for the residents of Irvine. As a reminder, the AB 41 Annual Military Use Report is available online on our website at www.cityofirvine.org. I can be reached at telephone number 949-724-7122.
And the
Sorry,
school
time is up. Thank you. Jacqueline Dooley.
When I look back at my working career, I think of this. I think of working with people that were well educated, most of them college degreed. I was not. What I noticed was, after some time, was that people were highly intelligent and well educated in one area, but a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them had absolutely no common sense in other areas. Very kind of a scary situation. In fact, we saved one guy from electrocuting himself. He was a PhD in electricity, and he tried to hook a ground up to a 60 amp power supply, but we pulled him back and pretty much saved his life. So it sticks in my craw, and it kind of makes me aware that just because somebody is educated and has a degree doesn't mean that they have common sense. And I like to see common sense. I think it's very important, especially when you're sitting on a dais.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Over the past 3 years, my right to quiet enjoyment of the property has been infringed by the incessant and excessive use of gas-powered leaf blowers. I'm a writer. I work from home. These leaf blowers have a severe deleterious impact on my productivity and general well-being. According to the CDC, prolonged exposure to gas-powered leaf blowers can cause permanent hearing damage. My attempts to seek redress from the Irvine Company have been met with an array of responses, ranging from contemptuous indifference to a sort of gleeful bureaucratic sadism. Because the Irvine Company possesses a quasi-monopoly on land in our city, my alternative options are limited. Donald Bren would not accept this level of noise outside of his mansion, but he has no problem inflicting it on his long-suffering tenants. I have been picketing at the corner for 2 days, and I've gotten a lot of honks and almost no middle fingers. As for what the Irvine Company can do with leaf blowing, my answer, I don't care. They can use a rake for all I care. I care about their side as much as they care about mine. I urge you to join the dozens of municipalities nationwide that have stood up to the leaf blower tyrants and said, hell no, we won't blow. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll turn it over to our city clerk.
If you want my vote, I ask you to take this request seriously. about 80% of Irvine residents, over 80% who have spoken at this forum, Irvine residents have opposed this deal in some form. So thank you for looking out for the Irvine residents. I really appreciate that.
I'd like to talk about procedures, and I have a slide that I'd like to get brought up. If you don't have it, that's fine. Oh, look at that. It's what the Finance Commission is supposed to do. Can I have my time back? Would you mind?
I could go on, but won't. But I'd also like to state how much I appreciate everyone that has and do worked so far and hard on this incredible project to become a reality. As Irvine Meadows was and is a jewel, still spoken of, let's keep the tradition going on for decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Call up now. Alcohol sold until 11. A little tailgate partying afterwards. People then jumping in their cars and driving through Irvine neighborhoods to go home. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I can answer some of these questions. A third party.
I don't need
offer-
answers, thank you.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, what?
Director Kim, you have the floor.
Yeah, just to answer some.
Thank you for. Since Councilwoman Treseder was elected to the council last November, and Councilwoman Tammy Kim was elected 2 years ago, I, and I'm sure thousands of Irvine residents, have truly been frustrated with the lack of leadership from these two council members to lower rates from the Orange County Power Authority. Let it be known that Councilwoman Treseder has left the dais for those that are viewing. That's a shame in itself. And the two have cost us, therefore, over $400,000 to $1 million because, frankly speaking, they're playing politics. There's no excuses for this malfeasance in office. And as far as Councilwoman Kim and Treseder stating that they don't have the votes on the OCPA, as Treseder tried to illustrate with a rather funny couple pieces of chess, a couple council meetings. What a joke. You two, along with Councilwoman Kim's former staff member and now Buena Park City Council member Jose Castaneda, along with Fullerton rep and a very close friend of Councilwoman Treseder's, or pardon me, Councilwoman Kim's, have a major block of votes and a majority on the OCPA. What are you talking about, Councilwoman Kim? You have the votes. Why don't you lower the rates? Why haven't you in 7 months? You've made a big deal about it. but
Mr.
you
Nelson,
haven't.
your time is up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, I'll turn it over to City Clerk for those participating virtually.
And to sort of address some of the public comments. And I want to make it clear that public comments really should not be utilized in any way as a conduit for propagating lies and misinformation. Unfortunately, as the audience who views these and sees them, it's sometimes hard to differentiate fact from fiction. We are doing all we can at OCPA to look at our rate structure. So thank you very much. And at least I'm willing to serve on the board, and I've asked to be replaced. So thank you.
D. Fox?
Yes, I had my hand raised for the last non-agenda. I just want to say it's so unprofessional for Tammy Kim to call out a public commenter as a liar,
Carl,
especially when she offers no facts to back up her
Ms.
claim.
Fox?
Ms. Fox,
One
that
moment.
isn't this agenda item.
Getting in the last week or so,
No, Councilman Agran, in the last week or so, I've been in Tahoe in a campground. The last
you worked on a set of revisions to what is in front of us tonight.
that was distributed through the city manager to Live Nation last Tuesday, if my recollection is right. I was in a coffee shop in Tahoe.
All right, and
And that's it. Happy to take any questions.